All right, welcome back, everybody. We just had a crazy 4-1 dominant win in the Premier Finals. Crazy work from the Capybaras, knocking him down, knocking the Punks down 4-1 in a wild performance. Some star players showing up, and we're about to get into an equally wild matchup here. Number one seeds from Lunar and Solar for Prospect going head to head now. Tanuki versus Prism Protoges, the Shrine versus Art Club. Looking at how they got here, some crazy matches tonight. Tanuki went 4-1 against the Fairies with some crazy overtime, some zero goal line, 0 second saves. And then we just finished Prism Poses versus Hawaiian Pizza, a sweaty 4-3 battle that ultimately saw Prism Poses taking the lead here. I'm Bulletnote. You guys heard me talking earlier. I'm joined by Sauce Boss, a familiar face here. And then we got Russ in the background producing all goats here for the finals. Sauce Boss, welcome to the booth. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Finally got done with Rocket League for the night, and now I get to watch it instead. I can't wait to see what these prospect guys are able to get up to after casting amateur finals. Saw some crazy action there as well with the premiere. Now I'm excited to see what the prospect guys can do.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's Lost showing off already, showcased a redirect in the prospect chat that led to them getting that victory too. But look at these two teams, so tight. 40 and 14, 40 and 16. It should be 42 and 14 with Tanuki getting the slight edge on the overall record. Goals forward about equal. Shot percentage slight edge to Tanuki, but saves dominant in the Prism Protege side. It's going to be really interesting to see who ultimately walks away with it. These two teams are so neck and neck. They're number one and number two in the overall standings. They're number one in their respective divisions and conferences. You've got names that have been seen all over the RSC prospect season. Bieles, Lost, Taz, Lone Wolf, Enterprise, Shadow, Gmoney, Tim. It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be a wild night. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking this is going to be really interesting, but the thing I really want to highlight is that assist category 117 to 89. That is a very large gap to see how it's going. I mean, the shot percentage is a little higher, but like for the most part, the rest of the stats are really close. That assist category is going to be really interesting to see because that means they really like to pass and everything kind of gets set up a little bit easier and that could lead to that little higher shot percentage. We might be able to see some big passing plays, maybe some redirects from those passes. It could be a really interesting matchup to see if Prism Proteges are going to be able to counter that at all.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really exciting. And as someone who did not make playoffs in Prospect, I've had the displeasure of playing against both these teams. These are two very, very aggressive teams. They're going to be wild. Like you said, I know the players on Tanuki like to do those passing plays that you talked about. Prism Pose's got some dominant shooters as well. But let's look at the players. Let's get those player stats up. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, let's start off with Tanuki as I highlighted with those assists. We got Beals, It's Lost, Lone Wolf, and Tazlien. Beals and Lost and Lone Wolf definitely their main starters. Beals being their shooter with 35% accuracy. Lone Wolf not too far behind in the goals total, but 37, nearly a 38% shot total and 37 assists for him as well as Lost getting a 45. It's going to be those are pretty high assist categories for the amount of games they play. They're nearly averaging an assist per game. That is a very impressive stat line to put up considering they are in prospect as well. That means
Yep.
these guys are locked in together.
Well, and with the exception of one goal under its lost, every player here has scored at least one goal a game. So this is a team that puts the ball in the back of the net. They shoot, they score, they win games. 67 saves though from loss, and that's going to play a factor into it as well. We're going to be seeing a really strong defensive front from Tanuki, and then they're going to find their opportunities to make their plays, and they're going to make them. Prism Protes has some work cut out for them, but don't discount them either. Let's flash over to Prism and see what Tanuki's going to be facing.
Yeah, and lining up for the Prism Proteges, we're gonna have XzShxdowBat, Gmoney, Tim the Big One, and Enterprise 15, who I have gotten to cast a while ago. I'm not sure if it was in Prospect as well, but he has been a name I've seen on stream. Pretty good fourth player, it looks like, for them, but he is swapping in with Tim the Big One quite a bit. So, but I believe they're going to start out with ShxdowBat, Gmoney, and Tim. And stats are pretty well even for most of these guys. Everything's kind of spread out. Nobody's too dominant in any stat category, although it does look like ShxdowBat is going to be their leader for goals and just shooting in general, as well as having a pretty high percentage with the 35 right there.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how balanced they get. Enterprise and Tim, the Big One, getting a really equal share of games, so we may see some roster swaps coming out. But I think this team holistically looks a little more balanced than Tanuki. Tanuki seems to have a little bit of a 1-2 punch deal going on with Bieles and Lost. So we'll have to see if that plays out in it. And talking about these two teams too, one of the stats that I always like to go back to is the last five, the recency bias, right? So if we look at the last 5 matches here, Tanuki went 17-3. Wow. Crazy. This is a team that does not lose. And then Prism Protoges went 13-7, equally impressive in their own right, but that slight edge to Tanuki may end up pushing them over here as we are looking to maybe get started here pretty soon. Divisionally, Tanuki is 15-1. Prism Protoges 14-2. So again, you stack these two teams up, it's obvious why they're here, and it's not so obvious though to pick maybe a prediction here. I don't know what to do. I don't know who is going to be popping off here, who's going to be showing out. These early games are going to set the pace for the rest of the series for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to be leaning with Tanuki in probably a 4-2. That assist category is really just going to be my ticket here, I think, is what I'm leaning for it. Although Prism Protoges, the demo category is incredibly high. Every single player outside of ShxdowBat is higher by at least 11 demos. So all these guys are going to be looking for those demos, and that could disrupt their potential passes for Tanuki. So we might be able to see if that goes that way. But right now, Tanuki's riding that hot streak, as you said, and I believe it's probably just going to lean towards them just a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's a good take. That's a good take. I think we see game 7. I think Prism Protoges is going to fight through it. They've had a long night already. They're about to go into it and get another one as well. Like you said, those demos are going to play into it. The passing plays are going to play into it. When you're in Prospect, whatever you can do to sort of disrupt the back and forth is what's going to lead to goals for you. So both these teams have their own ways of doing that. They're very good at it. But with that, I'm ready to go. Sauce, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get down in there. But one thing's for certain tonight, I'm leaking the script. A number 1 seed is going to be winning the Prospect Finals. This doesn't happen very often.
A number 1 seed versus a number 1 seed as we get going here. Art Club versus Tanuki. Prism Protoges. We got the lineup. We're in game 1 right now as we take this kickoff. Kickoff goes to Lone Wolf and the Prism Protoges as they try and get something set up here. ShxdowBat looking to push that ball down to the side here. Tim the Big One looking for a shot and a goal by ShxdowBat. Tim the Big One just got around the last defender, and we got an early lead going to Prism here.
Yeah, just a quick beat. Broke away from 2 of the Tanuki players, and then leaving Bieles in a 1-on-2. Just gets beat around him, opening up that easy goal. Great team play to start it off, and a great way to start off what seemingly was an even game right now for Prism Protoges. We'll have to see if they can continue to put the pressure on and make it just that much harder for them.
Well, what a back pass there. Gmoney not able to capitalize on it. ShxdowBat threw it back off the wall there. ShxdowBat died for it. That ball's going to bounce down. ShxdowBat's going to bang it out here. They're going to be looking to try and set up a pass opportunity. It's Lost. Last one back. Fakes it down. Gmoney throws it to the corner. It's not there for Lost. Lost bangs it away. He's going to have to come up and make a play here as Tim comes in to try and keep pressure. Shot coming out from Gmoney. Goes wide. Leaves it for Lost. Lost in the corner with no boost. Now has the ball and has to try and make a play as ShxdowBat goes for the corner post. Gets cleared again by Lone Wolf. And insane pressure right now from Prism Protoges as Tanuki is forced to deal with the ball on their goal line.
Yeah, as you said, you're impressed with the pressure that they're building right now, and I'm definitely impressed as well. I wasn't coming in here expecting a whole lot of passing from Prism Protoges, but right now I've just been seeing them attack the backboard time and time again, finding each other as well on their touches, and it's been just working, forcing pressure. This is the first chance that Tanuki has had on offense, and it might go their way, and they read a backboard from It's Lost. A fantastic shot, being able to get up to that one with such a tight angle.
Well, we talked about this synergy between Bieles and Lost. They had it shown all season. They have it shown right here as Bieles hits a beautiful crossbar read that Lost just goes up to knock back down. Kickoff number 3 here. We're just under a minute and a half in. Both teams have a score. They're going to be looking to get that lead back. What are you liking so far, Sauce? What has impressed you?
Like I said, it was really the passing. Prism Protoges came out on a mission, getting just touches to each other, and everybody's able to, for the most part, able to read what's going to happen, and they're able to follow up. They're following up really nicely on these touches and not giving Tanuki really any space to work with, and they're also forcing them on low boosts as Gmoney picks up a full 100. All 3 players were on 100 at the exact same time, and it's just going to eventually leave open some potential holes in Tanuki's offense if they get stuck with a big bang. If you've got low boost for all your players, it's going to be really hard to counter anything, and it just can open up some free goals.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we see Gmoney looking to try and set up a read here as he reads the bang. That's going to bounce right down. They might get it in the net off the crossbar. SHxdowBat doesn't get the goal. It gets saved by Lone Wolf. The pressure coming now from Prism Protoges, so they get an awkward redirect. They're going to have to reset now, but that's not super dangerous for them. One thing I've noticed right away, Prism Protoges have done a really good job of getting reset, getting reestablished, and then looking for the counterattack. As you see them do right here, Gmoney going up the side, going to be looking for a pass to their teammate, goes to the corner, loses the 50, but there's SHxdowBat. Talk about SHxdowBat. They've been at the center of most of the conflict or interactions with Tanuki right now. They set up the pass in the early goal that they had, and they're right back here looking for an opportunity too.
Yeah, looking for opportunity too. Another shot on target. Pretty hard one from SHxdowBat as well. And now they're going to have a little bit of space. Gmoney still keeping that one in. It's just a struggle right now for Tanuki to get off and out into offense. I believe they've only had maybe a minute at most of possession and offensive control. Slowly starting to get back into the midfield. Lost and Bieles going to come together, not able to do it, but Lone Wolf is finally going to break back into that offensive pressure and is just sent all the way back into the midfield, so they're not able to get on too much control yet, but they are working their way back for another goal here. But Tanuki, we saw what happened the last time they got offensive pressure, and it finally turned into a goal, and they're now starting to put shots on target, but a mistake from Tim the Big One out of boost, and now SHxdowBat, Gmoney come together, and they're just doing anything they can to keep the ball out of their net, but it hasn't built up a whole lot of passing plays yet from Tanuki, which I'm definitely surprised about.
Yeah, I haven't seen either team kind of react to each other yet. It seems like they're both just trying to feel each other out. There's potentially 7 games here. They're going to have plenty of time to play. Tim, the Big One, knocking that clear away, had to do it. Otherwise, that was a goal opportunity that Tanuki was looking for. Tanuki takes the 50 here with Lost. Lost gives it away. Gmoney going up, gets met on the backboard by half the lobby. That drops mid, almost a dangerous situation. That ball's coming back. It gets cleared out by everybody. They're looking for a shot on net. It goes wide with 18 seconds left, and they're not able to get the lead. Prism Protoges is going to be looking for that angle back here as that comes back up again. Lone Wolf looking for the bang, throws it down to his teammate. 10 seconds left, clock counting down. It's Lost, going to be looking for a bang on shot, on target here, gets knocked down. Looking for a crossfield. They get an opportunity here with one last attempt, and it's going to go wide. 0 seconds. Do they try and take OT? They do. We are going to OT, everybody, and we are 1-1 in game 1 with the number 1 seeds. Crazy work.
Yeah, we saw the matchup stats, and it was super close. We knew this one was going to be a pretty close matchup, and right now it's definitely turning out to be. And some more boost control from Prism Protoges, and their offensive pressure right now could be just unrelenting. Right now they're doing a great job and at least keeping it on that side, but having a little bit more boost control could absolutely cripple Tanuki's defense and just not give him a chance to get out to it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what they're able to do here. Tanuki sort of stuck on their side of the field ever since the offense started, but what a shot coming downfield from Bieles. SHxdowBat's there to knock it away. They're gonna be looking for an opportunity here as they double up on the corner. SHxdowBat with boost though, has the ball, gets it over Lost, gonna be looking for a pass. Their teammate Gmoney is looking for the shot. It goes wide. They're not able to respond to it. That's gonna bounce high though and give Tim an opportunity for a 50 that he whiffs. Looks like they went for the bump instead. It's Lost coming across the goal line looking for something here. Gmoney and SHxdowBat got Bieles on the back foot as it goes down to the corner. Bieles throws it up. They're going to be looking for a clear out. Gets it off the corner. Gets it bounced high. Nobody's able to respond to it quite yet. An awkward situation leaves Lost with low boost and has to make the save. He gets it knocked away. It comes back again and again and again. The pressure from Prism Protoges has just been dominant in this overtime. Tanuki's got to break out of it here.
Yeah, they got to break out in a big way, and right now it's not going to come from the lack of boost. That one nearly goes in. Gmoney clears it away. So many times we've seen these big clears come out right on the goal line, and they've gotten pretty close to almost catching them off guard, but each time just someone able to get back to it or just slightly off target. They got to find a way to put it back on net with a little bit more force, and they might be able to sneak it past. But right now, the pressure is definitely leaning in favor of Prism Protoges. They just got to find what they need to break through. And that could be the ticket right there. Lone Wolf able to snipe it away right at the last second, right off the crossbar. And no one back to it right now. And it looks like a midfield battle is going to re-engage.
Yeah, re-engaging on the midfield battle. Lone Wolf was the last one back there. Had to make that save, otherwise it was a goal. A shot opportunity here gets 50'd by Gmoney. They're not able to make it work. Tim, the big one, gets boost and the ball, but doesn't quite get the control that he wants as it goes away, leaving Shadow to have to come back and clear it out. A lot of corner play here. Both teams eager to dive into it and try and make those passing opportunities. They're not getting a lot of benefit for it as you see this ball go back and forth across the goal line. Generally over 100 touches by both teams in this game right now. The back and forth has been the dominant reason for that. An awkward miscue that's going to lead to a goal by Bieles as they get knocked in. Unfortunate for Prism, they get touched up on each other in the attempt to clear it, and Bieles is just going to read it and knock it in. That's going to give Tanuki the early edge here. They go up 2-1 with almost a 3-minute overtime.
Yeah, nearly a 3-minute overtime. These guys are definitely well matched for each other. Definitely worthy of a final matchup. But I think I really want to highlight Prism Protoges. They did very well for kind of being the underdog in stats. It was close, but they are still a little behind. And I think it really just came out of some shot placements and just strength on those shots, as well as a few issues with the rotation, but they played really well, and they forced Tanuki to play really hesitant, having to wait on defense quite a bit, as we saw many saves come out, well over a dozen. I believe that's actually 14 saves out of Tanuki in just that game alone.
Yeah, and Lone Wolf taking the majority of that and the MVP with 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 saves. Lost not far behind with 5. But talk about what we were talking about, that 1-2 punch that Lost and Bieles try to put together. If I'm mispronouncing the name, I'm sorry, Bieles. I'm going to go back and forth all night. But not only that, SHxdowBat, 11 shots. Talk about offense. And I think we're going to see more of that. We're going to see Tim trying to get in on it. We're going to see Gmoney try and get in on it. Lone Wolf and Lost are going to be struggling here, I think, holding down that back line, because I think the aggression from Prism is just going to step up after that loss.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to step up a little bit after that loss, but I think they're definitely going to need to focus in on that shooting. Going 1 for, I believe it was 20 or close to 20. They're definitely going to have to lock it in just a little bit to find the back of the net, because the shot placement hasn't really been there right yet. And what a save right on the goal line, keeping Lone Wolf out of there. And here could be a potential breakaway. SHxdowBat, Tim, the big one, coming together and forcing Lost on 0 boost to have to make a play. And they makes a great one at that on 0 boost. Gets around 1, back into the corner. And a potential shot opportunity, Lost saves it away, and he's got a half tank of boost. He's got something to do it with. Gmoney leaving it in the middle. SHxdowBat's going to make a big bang down the middle. Bieles going to clear it back away, and it's not out yet. ShxdowBat looking for a redirect. He's not going to find it. Lost out with a bang. And back to the midfield. These guys have done a great job in forcing the ball back into the midfield and not giving Prism Protoges enough space with the passing plays.
Yeah, no, but an awkward situation here. A save that doesn't go the right way, and Lone Wolf is just going to bully that one in. Put a little too much power behind it for the last back there. ShxdowBat awkward on the redirect, doesn't get the save, hits the crossbar and bounces in. Tanuki's going to go up one just under a minute.
Yeah, getting up on one with just a minute left. Tanuki have come out here and they've been playing a little bit stronger, kind of anticipating that Prism Protoges aren't really going to be putting on too hard of shots, and they're going to be able to just come in with a lot of force, and just really any strong touches can be a really detrimental factor. That was a great outlet to try and create some space. Gmoney's going to get around one, but all three players come together, and there's going to be another breakaway. Gmoney's got to get there quick. Another great touch to get it out, and this one's not on target, but these really strong touches from Tanuki are really creating some panic on the side of the Prism Protoges, and they're just trying to force any touch to go on net, and it's creating some low boost opportunities. This one nearly goes in. Bieles got to clear that one away, and they're just not really able to generate enough force out of Prism Protoges to create any panic whatsoever.
Yeah, both teams really trying to get their offense going here. We saw some brilliant shot attempts that just unfortunately got swatted down by Tanuki. So Prism Protoges not able to get the shots and goals that they wanted. They're getting an opportunity here. They're all low on boost, that they're going to try and make a counterattack. That's going to pinch wide. Gmoney's going to go chasing it down. He's going to try and play that 50. He's going to opt for the touch instead. Lone Wolf looking for a shot. Waterfalls down, gets blocked by ShxdowBat. That's not going to go anywhere. And like you said, both teams just kind of struggling to get some offense going here. They're playing a little bit quick. They might be trying to play a little bit in front of the ball. It's causing them some rotational issues here as that ball is going to roll and almost get a scoring opportunity. It comes back. Here's Lost getting 50 by Tim the Big One. Tim the Big One looking to try and 50 again. That ball's going to float mid, but ShxdowBat, way to get up there, already up, looking for a shot down as it comes across again. A little bit of boomer ball going on. Tanuki's in the right spot here to try and play that out because they have the advantage on the score, so they just need to run the clock down. 1 goal lead's not super safe, but it's working out for them right now.
Yeah, as you said, some boomer ball going on, and that does create some opportunities, and it could also create some detriments, as especially with boomer ball, you can't really follow up with a play unless you have a mistake from the opponent. And right now, not too many mistakes are coming out with the rotations. A great demo that's not on target, and that's been the absolute killer here for Prism Protoges, just not being able to get the touches on target. Yeah, but as I was saying, it's just coming down to boomer ball, and they're not really able to follow up with anything right now, and it's just only having to wait for a mistake, and neither of these teams are really willing to go out of their way to have a little bit of risk, and they're just booming the ball back down to the other side, hoping somebody misses, and it hasn't really gone anybody's way yet. It's only been one little mistake so far that's created a lead for either side.
Yeah, well, and these two teams are not teams that make mistakes. They win games, and they're going up against each other. And so if you're relying on the other team making a mistake to get your scoring opportunity, you're not going to get it. They got 1 minute left, and Prism Protoges has to try and get a response here as they get that ball midfield. Tim's going to be looking for a pass, but it gets met by Bieles. Bieles is going to knock that down, leave Gmoney with the 50. It's going to bounce mid, but there's Tim to try and redirect it back in. Leaves it for Lost, who leaves it for Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf doesn't have the boost to make a play on here, tries to fake out ShxdowBat. They're getting that ball in the pressure. There's the bump. They're looking for an awkwardness here, trying to get the 50. It gets cleared out, luckily for Tanuki. They're not able to make a play. 30 seconds left. There's the shot by Bieles to the corner, crossbar post, and the redirect comes back in from Lone Wolf, and they're going to go up 2.
Going to go up 2, and that one's likely going to be the dagger right now. Prism Protoges just don't have anything to answer Tanuki. They haven't found a way to break through. They've had several shots go on target, but many less than the last game, and they're just not able to really find the net at all. Most shots are going wide, or they're just really weak, and they're not creating any issue for Tanuki's defense at all. And it's
You see it.
Yeah.
No, you're 100% right. You see that third man coming out and lost there. They almost get another opportunity here. 0 seconds on the clock. They're going to be looking for one more. They don't get it. Tanuki's going to take the early series lead here, 2-1, or 2-0. Sorry, and you got to wonder what Prism's going to do for a response.
Yeah, you got to really think that it's going to come down to shot placement. We said it earlier from last game, the shot placement wasn't great, and it's definitely been their hardest aspect to get down right now. They did come in with a pretty impressive 30%, but it looks like Tim the big one is announcing that there's going to be a sub coming in for Prism Protoges. Maybe they'll have somebody come in with a little bit of offensive
No,
minded.
that's Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Looks like they're going to be subbing in for Enterprise. Enterprise is 100% the guy to throw in here. He is a great player. He's got some great touches. He's got most importantly, he's got accuracy, and I think that's what Prism is just missing right now. They're not able to get the final touches that they need to throw that ball into the net. I'm excited for this change. I think it'll be really good for Prism. We'll have to see going into Game 3, though.
Yeah, and
Sorry, yeah, Game 3.
yeah, game 3 looks like Enterprise is going to get some action here. But I believe if they really want to stick to that boomer ball aspect, they're going to really need to just aim for the net. Every single hit just has to go back to the net, and that's the only, and it has to go with force as well. If they don't generate any force on any touches, they're not going to be able to really force the defense to do anything. They're just going to wait back, they're going to bang it back, and right now Tanuki has done a great job in getting proper placement on their touches, and they've generated a lot of force and a lot of panic on Prism Protege's defense. And they're going to have, if they keep it up, they're really going to be able to take a big advantage of that in game 3.
Yeah, an opportunity here as that ball comes across the net, a crossbar hit that goes to the crossbar and almost in. Bieles backing up through the reverse lights on to knock it in off the touch here on the corner too. A brilliant sidewall pass, and they took out the first shooter, but they left Bieles in the dust, and he just had to back up into it.
Yeah, and that really comes out of that touch. It wasn't too strong of a touch, but it was enough power to get it past 2 players, and then all it took was an extra touch to get it around, and it hung around there right in front of the net. Enterprise looking for a shot, gets a pass over the middle, Lone Wolf there before Tim, and now they got a little bit of a breakaway. Enterprise gets back to block it. 3 players up in the middle, and now it's going to be a really tough spot for the defense of Prism to get back to it, but they do come back a little bit. This one's going to hang out in the middle. SHxdowBat has to come back to it with 0 boost. And now we're going to play a little bit of corner ball as Tanuki's going to get a rare long stretch of offensive pressure here.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to try and get that pressure back, though. Enterprise going to the corner now, looking for a setup, tries to get it past 1 and gets met, but Tim's right there to throw it back. They're looking for the back bar shot. It's bouncing awkward. No one's there to respond to it. SHxdowBat has to try and come and play it out. Unfortunate for Prism Proteges, they've been just a little bit too far outside of the play with their third and second mans, and that's not letting them capitalize on mistakes like that. Enterprise controlling the ball with a little bit of a fancy back booty bump read here. Goes up to the corner and throws it mid. There's SHxdowBat going to be looking for it. Tries to throw the 50 and fakes it for Lone Wolf, leaving it for Tim. Tim doesn't have the boost to really do too much here, but he's going to try and get something set up as he leaves it for Bieles and gets banged out by Enterprise. Enterprise with a great move to clear it. Goes the touch, clears it over 1. There's SHxdowBat looking for the shot. It's going to go float, maybe in. There it is. You know, the fast shots work, the slow shots work. Enterprise with the pass down to the center, and SHxdowBat just with the floater going to throw it over Lost and throw off their timing there, and they're not able to make it work.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't beautiful, but they got it done. They finally got the pass over the middle. It wasn't a lot of power, but sometimes the change-up is just enough to throw off that timing, as you said, and it finally worked. They finally get a goal since game 1, and now it's going to be really up to them to see if they can get another one and finally break into the lead again, as they did right at the start of game 1.
Yeah, that ball's going to bounce across the mid here. Lone Wolf's going to try and keep it in. His teammates have to go back for a boost. They don't have an opportunity here to try and capitalize on that. Leaving Tim the big one to go up, gets 50'd. What a demo by Enterprise, looking to cause some confusion in the back line and open up that goal. Doesn't work for them. The ball gets bounced away. SHXdowBat got low boost, is trying to make a single play here on the center, gets 50 to the side. Prism Protoges offensively have done a lot better this game than they did the past 2 games. What a shot from Enterprise, gets knocked away. Crazy dribble going for the corner, doesn't go where it needs to, but a bounce comes over, maybe over the last defender before Bieles knocks it away. Almost a goal for Prism Protoges from Enterprise.
Yeah, no, I think that's the big thing Enterprise is brought in for. He's got a little bit better control of the ball, and I think I remember seeing that out of him on stream the few times I did get to stream him, but he's done pretty well with the control right there. Nearly getting a fantastic solo play in. Could be the ticket they need, but still have a little bit of work to do with 2 minutes left. They got to find a way to get back into the offensive half and also work these stronger touches. Another great one right there. SHXdowBat's going to go up for it, but he's not going to be able to read it. And Enterprise looking back for the middle and not really able to do anything with it. And just going to have to boom it back into the middle. And players both waiting on the backboard. It's not really going to go anywhere.
Yeah, they just sort of going back and forth now. Great pressure from Prism Protoges, though. They go up and get a flip reset that doesn't do anything for Enterprise, but that little indicator popping up there. Prism Protoges have had a great job, done a great job with the offensive pressure. Now, we just now start to see that ball come out, but there's Tim to throw it right back in. Probably over a minute here. Enterprise looking for a shot, floats just barely to the side, didn't quite get the touch on it. An excellent 50 from Tim set that up. SHXdowBat's going to be looking to throw it back in, too. Enterprise throwing for the midfield. They're going to be looking for his third, but has to stay on it. Tim, the big one, doubling up with him. They get it over 1. They're going to throw it to the corner here, looking for a pass. Gets it down 1, bounces it over 2, tries for the bump, but he's already up to clear it. Lost, clears it away. Prism Protoges doing a really good job on offense this game. They've had a lot more offense. I want to say probably just more offensive opportunities in this game than the previous combined series. 1-1, 30 seconds left. We might see another overtime here as these two teams duke it out.
We're getting into crunch time right now. Might be able to see that second overtime. Enterprise waiting right in the middle. Spoke too soon. They're back in the lead, and now Tanuki have to find a way to answer. And it's still a chance to get back. It's going to be really tough as they haven't really had much of an offensive opportunity yet outside of the opening minute.
Yeah, we go into the final kickoff here probably with 20 seconds left. Tim, the big one, carrying it up the wall. Tanuki's got to try and get some offensive pressure going. They've been stuck in their back half for most of this third game. As that ball comes up, it floats. 10 seconds left. Here's the last opportunity for a play. Lone Wolf looking for a bump, gets it, throws it down. There's the shot rolling in. They almost get the bump again. It's in with 4 seconds left. Lost playing off the defender. They're going to tie it up 2-2.
Tying it up 2-2. I saw two defenders go by, and I knew only one was left to save it in a 1v2 situation, and it was going to be very difficult, especially if a pass comes through. They found it, and now, without any last-second theatrics, we're going to be going to our second overtime of the night here in Game 3.
Man, grab your coffee, folks. If this is any indication, we're going to be going up past midnight, rocking this in. It is 11:22 right now. It is 2-2 in overtime in Game 3. Prism Protoges looking to try and get that first lead in the series, our first game win in the series, as that ball comes across, gets knocked away by SHXdowBat. Enterprise looking for a full court press here as they try and throw something to the corner. Gets it off the backboard. Tim's going to be looking to respond to that, but he has to go back and let it fall. Gets it off the corner. It doesn't go where it needs. They 50 that could have gone the wrong way. An overshoot that gets caught by Bieles. That's going to go back to the corner again. And Prism revitalized now. Thought they had the win. It didn't work out for them. Tanuki fought back, and now I know Prism is going to be fighting hard to make sure that they stand on business and secure that win.
A great boost steal by Lone Wolf, just disrupting that offensive pressure. Bieles doesn't get demoed there. That could have been absolutely disastrous for them. And now finally get to come back to control. Enterprise tries to pass it over the middle. Going to get broken up by the defense. Back over the middle. Opportunity here for another Tanuki offensive possession. They're going to start to get it, but they're on low boost, and nobody's there from Tanuki to follow it up, and now a great 50 from Tim is going to keep this one on the offense, but he's not going to be able to keep it in for a pass. Enterprise looking for a sidewall read off the corner, not able to get it. ShxdowBat also up, an opportunity for Bieles to clear. This one's big, it's going long, but Enterprise is there waiting on the back wall, ready to read it.
Well, and Enterprise has been doing a really great job of providing some security to Prism Protoges. He's been on the back wall getting those blocks. He's been trying to set up plays. He's given Tim and ShxdowBat a little more breathing room here as that ball comes across mid. You see he can control it with the boost here as he's going for a corner. Gets it past one. It's an open net just barely before they come back, and he has to bail out, but that ball's going to come right mid again. They're looking for a setup here, and they're just waiting in the wings for a shot. Tim gets it off one. It's going to bounce high. Where's their shooter? It's not there. No shooter yet. It's all awkward for Tanuki in front of the net. That doesn't culminate in a goal for them. ShxdowBat has to carry that back and respond to it before she gets to knock it away.
Got around 2 players. There was an opportunity right there. Enterprise is going to have to get a flick. But I think one of the biggest issues we're seeing right now is that one goes off the crossbar. That could have been it. Is the Prism Protoges are trying to find these passes over the middle, but no one on their team is ready in the middle for them to receive, or they're just playing a little bit too far back. I'd like to see these offensive possessions come with a little bit more anticipation that it might go mid, and playing with a little bit more speed and widening those rotations might help a little bit to pick up that speed and give them enough time to get into the middle before it can be blocked away by a defender.
Yeah, no, they definitely need to get their 1-2s, get rotated better, try and get set up a little bit better. A shot now, though, gets blocked by Bieles. That almost ended it for this game. Tim, the big one's going to be looking to throw it back mid. He's looking for a shooter off the back, but as you saw, Enterprise too far back, wasn't able to rotate up inside, just like you were saying there, Sauce. Not quite able to get that second follow-up in place.
Yeah, not able to get the follow-up, but these setups are looking just beautiful. It's really about that second man. Where is he going to be at? Can he get mid, and can they get boost to starve the defense of Tanuki just a little bit longer? But now this one might go in, and we're finally, after nearly breaking into the 4-minute mark here on overtime, we've had at least a full extra game of overtime between our 2 we've had, but Tanuki are going to take a 3-0 lead in the series, and they're going to be on match point.
Yeah, crazy work from Tanuki to fight down from a 1-goal deficit, tie it up with 4 seconds left, and then take overtime after a grueling almost 4 minutes of overtime. We're going to be calling for another sub. Looks like we're doing another roster change. Prism Protoges trying to find what's working for them here. I think they keep Enterprise, but we're going to have to see who comes out and who comes in. Tanuki looking to cap things off with a potential 4-0. Prism Protoges in a tough spot. They've got to dig deep and find their offense. They have to win from here on out. One of these teams is going to walk away with a championship, and right now, Tanuki's making a strong case for them.
Yeah, Tanuki's making a very strong case that they're probably going to walk out here, as it's really difficult to get a reverse sweep in a best of 7. We haven't seen it very often, but Prism Protoges, the only way they're going to win is if they do it right now. And it does look like we're going to see Enterprise stay in the game, as well as ShxdowBat. We're going to see Tim, the big one, subbed out. So maybe we'll see if that clicks together just a little bit better with Gmoney instead. But we're going to have to see how it plays out, as we've got game 4 about to start up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I do think this lineup for Prism Protoges is their most offensive lineup. Gmoney's a fast player. ShxdowBat's been doing excellent with the setups, and then Enterprise, like I said, has been doing excellent with the setups as well. I think we're going to see just straight aggression from Prism Protoges. They got to throw everything at Tanuki and get past them here. We're going into game 4, potentially the end of this series, potentially the start of something bigger as this kickoff gets underway. Bieles taking it up the wall, looking for a pass here mid, drops it down mid, leaves it for their teammates. Enterprise and ShxdowBat, you see already that aggression coming out as they almost double up on that. ShxdowBat has to leave that one down, gets top mid. They're not there to get the double tap, but now they've left one back. It's a backboard shot that's going to come floating down again. Gmoney's looking for a shot. They're going to throw it to the corner off the crossbar. Where's the double? There it is. ShxdowBat throwing it in, doesn't quite get it. It gets knocked out, and now we got a deep shot that has to get saved. ShxdowBat with an excellent redirect that was almost on target, and this aggression just coming out right away from Prism Protoges as Tanuki has to hang on and not give him an opportunity. What a shot from ShxdowBat off the corner, paying dividends, staying upfield. They get that shot off a weird double touch by Tanuki that threw both their defenders out of the play, and ShxdowBat just put it top corner when they didn't really need to, but hey, whatever gets the ball in the net.
Finally starting to see a little bit of connection going on. It is only about only a little over 30 seconds have gone by so far, but those connections are starting to come through. I think that was maybe the first or second pass we've seen that has actually connected in the last, I don't know, game or two, or at least 2 games. We haven't seen those connections until now. Maybe that connection was between Gmoney and Enterprise is what they needed to get ShxdowBat operating into his form, but it did seem to come with a little bit more risk playing with this setup, but that was a great setup right there, just demoed away at the last second, unfortunately. But yeah, we saw the setup, and it came with a little bit of aggression, leaving that potential outplay, just banging it back could become an issue if they overcommit.
Well, they were looking for a double there. They didn't quite get it. Like you said, that last shot attempt by Prism Protoges knocked away by a brilliant demo from Tanuki. They're looking for a pass opportunity of their own as that ball's going to bounce high. But like you said, the aggression just paying dividends right here. They're up 1 with a major bang. They're going to be looking for a double there, but he dies again for his efforts. And that's the problem, is that when you boom the ball like that, you got everybody moving in the same direction. Demos are going to be coming out when they're looking for opportunities like that.
Yeah, definitely opportunities opening up, but the booming the ball back hasn't really found the teammate. It's been going straight back to the other team, and we're starting to see a few mistakes come out, but those demos are starting to become absolutely devastating, as every time they get a little bit of pressure going, it just gets taken away in an instant with a demo.
A crazy touch by ShxdowBat goes off the backboard, gets cleared out by Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf able to get that touch. That would have been a beautiful play. I probably would have clipped that one. But now one defender back has to go up against Lone Wolf. The 50 goes wide, but Bieles is already up. They whiff an open net opportunity. It's Lost has no boost and has to try and make a save, and they don't get it. ShxdowBat's going to throw it into the corner again off a failed save from Lost.
Overcommit from Tanuki finally gets punished as Prism Protoges take their first double or 2-score lead of the game. Finally having a little bit of insurance, and half the game has gone by already. That's a great start for them, and having a chance to come back right here. And any extra goals can really make it just really concerning for Tanuki, as they're going to have to find a way to respond to this offensive pressure right now.
Yeah, well, and this offensive pressure is so hard to keep up for Prism Protoges. You have to remember they played 7 games in the semifinals earlier tonight to get here. So this is game 11 for them in the last probably 2-3 hours. And if all of them have been like this, which it was because they went 4-3 in playoffs or in semifinals to get here, they got to be mentally just exhausted, and they got to keep fighting through, because this is their last chance, their last opportunity to continue to fight for it.
Yeah, last chance, last opportunity, and they're trying to make it work right now, and they finally have a 3-score lead, and it's starting to break away a little bit, and it looks like they're starting to find their stride again. And it might be the roster, the sub might have come in at the very perfect moment that they needed just to stay alive. And with a minute and a half remaining, it's going to be a really tall task for Tanuki to get on here, as they've only had, I believe, 3 shots this entire game. That's a really rare sight to see out of such a dominant team as they've been doing so far.
Yeah, well, Gmoney doing an excellent job on that last goal, just dribbled it around all the defenders, coming in, like I said, with that offense. Again, this lineup is an aggressive offensive lineup for them, and it's showing. They're 3-0 with a minute left. Tanuki has not had any opportunities to try and create counterattacks of their own. Demo comes across the goal line. That's going to leave it open. They get the block. There's the other one throwing it in. ShxdowBat gets met again. Can't make it work. And we saw a card change, too. ShxdowBat changed cards. Enterprise changed cards. Wondering if that's playing into their ability to control this game.
You know, maybe call it black magic too, or just a way to block out the mine, try to reset after a game. Not all the time. You see car changes every now and then, sometimes among the pros, but these guys, they're just doing anything they can to give themselves an edge, trying to get comfortable with any setup they can. And
Yeah.
they've done a great job in getting a reset here as a 3-0 lead going into the final seconds.
Oh,
It's not. Assuming there's no last second heroics, I believe that we're gonna have to go to a game 5,
we're going to
and they're
go
gonna
to a
have a lot of
game
work to do if
5.
they want to get 7.
We're gonna go to a game 5. They almost got one goal there. Tanuki's gonna walk away with a big fat goose egg on this one, which is very uncharacteristic for them. They usually are able to get something going here, but fresh blood coming in with Gmoney, 439 points, 1-1, 2-2 on goals, assists, saves, and shots. Definitely showing up as some fresh energy for this group. They got to keep this lineup, I think, and Prism Protoges is going to be looking to go back and pull off some kind of victory here.
Yeah, I gotta find a way to bring back the possession in their favor. Boomer ball just isn't really working in this game like it did in the previous 3. The touches are overwhelming in Prism Protege's favor that they just really were forced on defense the whole time, and they weren't able to keep it out. And it really showed in the goals. They just had nothing, and the shot totals were pretty low too. Prism Proteges again taking great advantage of that and having a little bit more space. But we saw Tanuki amp up the demos, and it might become a strategy in here in game 5 to maybe target those a little bit more, as the offense definitely petered out for Prism, especially once they got demoed.
Right. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And then also just like general touches too between the two teams, 84 and 88 for Tanuki and Prism respectively. Uh Leading to, like we said, a lot of that boomer ball that we were seeing. But
Yeah.
we're going to go into game 5 now as we get things off here. Enterprise and Lost taking the kickoffs here as we get into game 5. That ball is going to bounce high mid. Lone Wolf's going to be looking for an early shot here. Gets it across the top of the goal. His teammate's there to knock it under. It gets knocked away by Enterprise, but the return is there. What a bump to throw his own teammate in front of the ball. That's going to get knocked away. Early aggressive push by Tanuki, knowing that they don't want to go to game 6 or game 7 and try and clean this up and finish it out.
You gotta watch when you say those two numbers together. Can get really dangerous here in chat.
Gmoney looking for a stop here, gets blocked, and then leaves Bieles with the ball. That ball doesn't roll with Bieles. It gets knocked over him. Enterprise looking for a shot here, gets countered by Tanuki, and that ball's going to go open into an open net. There's Gmoney seeing it downfield, find the slot and fill it. He just threw it right into the net. There was nobody back. They got bumped by Enterprise and sent back out of the goal.
Yeah, the Prism Proteges have definitely started to figure out Tanuki's number, and dare I say, it could be the boomer ball. I know I said I don't really like to see it that much, but it's starting to work in their favor a little bit, and Tanuki's just getting a little bit too aggressive, trying to generate any offense that they can, and it's not really working out in their favor. They're just starting to create gaps, making it harder for them to respond when they try to bang it back on their own, and Prism Protoges is just doing a fantastic job in playing a little bit better on the rotations. Several shots going off the crossbar.
No.
That's got to be the fourth one, that fourth defender, and this one's finally going to break through.
Everybody on Tanuki got a chance to hear that crossbar sound before Lost was able to come back around, read the miscue from Shadow, and just throw it into the net. They're tied up 1-1 again. Dangerous situation for Prism Protoges. When Tanuki is in a 1-1 situation, they've come away with the victory, and that's going to be really hard to see here if Prism Protoges can't respond. But it looks like they're going to get a response here as they throw it, gets it down. A little bit of tunnel vision there as they threw it right to the defender, but that's going to bounce mid again. Enterprise going up to try and keep this pressure, gets met by Lone Wolf. That's going to go down to the side. ShxdowBat's going to be looking to create this pressure again. Tries to go for a pass. It's a little too soft to do anything with, but Gmoney's right there to keep that pressure on, and now Enterprise has to go and do something as last man back with boost ball and the corner as he's able to bang it out, but he's got two people he's got to get by, and it doesn't work out for him.
doesn't work out for him, and it's starting to show a little bit that Tanuki have responded at least a little bit in kind, but they haven't been able to generate those passing plays we've been dying to see. As pretty easy clear comes out and trying to find each other, just the touches aren't coming together right now. Enterprise looking for one over the middle. ShxdowBat's got to keep this one in, but going to the corner. And I think Tanuki are playing really well from the corner. Nothing has really generated for Prism to get out into the middle, and the touches really just haven't been strong enough from Prism to use the corner enough. They're really going to have to find a way to pass it over the middle and take advantage of any overcommits.
Yeah, and these bang outs are getting responded to left and right. Nobody's getting an opportunity to set something up. It truly comes down to who's making that critical error, who's getting that whiff, not winning the 50. That's leading to them getting goals here as Enterprise looks to try and set something up, but it doesn't materialize for him. ShxdowBat gets lost in the corner too. And now, a little bit of awkwardness here. Prism Protoges are in a weird situation where that ball has to roll all the way back before it gets touched again. ShxdowBat going for a solo play, looking for maybe a double here off the crossbar. It goes down off the crossbar. Oh no! What it could have been does not work out for ShxdowBat. They're not able to make that work. What a beautiful double attempt off the ceiling there.
Yeah, nearly goes in. We saw the Doomsy and Amateur. We all nearly saw a double tap come out here. And just trying to put on a little bit of mechanical display. Does get around a few. Enterprise nearly goes in. That was it right there. That was what they needed to get back on top, and that could have been a dagger with how the games have been progressing.
Yeah.
But no, this one's gonna stay alive and stay tied, and it's just devastating to see.
So unfortunate. In typical Rocket League fashion, the open net being the hardest goal to hit as they go up here, looking for a double off the backboard here. Their teammates up. They get the demo. ShxdowBat's got to come in and try and finish this. Nobody's there. Where's the shot? They don't delay enough to get it out. They do delay enough to get it out. They're not able to score again. 2 missed opportunities now from Prism Protoges that should have been goals for them. And now a demo coming out. This is starting to turn into Tanuki's favor as they look for a shot here. They leave it. The third man got bumped out. They're all awkward. ShxdowBat trying to scramble and get this ball cleared out. They're going to be looking for another touch. Enterprise going up, looking for a shot. Gets bounced to the corner, gets bounced out. They're not able to respond. A little bit of panic from Prism Protoges there. A little bit shaken from that open net miss and that crossbar hit that didn't go where they needed to. They got to recollect and they got to reset. They got 20 seconds to make a play here as that ball floats down towards the Tanuki side. What a bump from Enterprise, throwing Lost back to the goal. But it doesn't work out for them. That ball's free. Last man back is Enterprise with full boost, and he gets the whiff. And 5 seconds now on the clock as the last play comes up here. They're going to try and finish it, but it looks like we're going to go to overtime again.
Looks like we're going to go to overtime. We're going to go to overtime. And we've seen way too much time in overtime for either of these teams to get comfortable. But so far, Tanuki are 2-0 in overtime right now, and that could continue if It's Lost can read this, and he does, and this one is over.
Oh my gosh. What a play. ShxdowBat off the bump, a little bit awkward. It's Lost throwing the sideball pass, leaving it for Lone Wolf, knock it in. They only needed 15 more seconds. That's going to do it. Tanuki are your prospect champions for season 25.
Yep, congratulations to Tanuki. They've played a fantastic game, bouncing back after that struggle there in game 4, and just clutch factor for all these players in Tanuki, just locked down every time they got to overtime. It's just the power of the 1-goal game. Golden goal, just have to put it in, and they did it every single time. 3 out of their 4 wins came in overtime.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. They took it down to the wire for sure. And as we said, both these teams were going to be going neck and neck, back and forth. Unfortunately for Prism Protoges, they weren't able to find the back of the net. They had 2 missed goals in game 5 there that didn't quite work out for them. They're going to be looking for those back early next season, I imagine, too. Want to say congrats to Tanuki. Don't go anywhere. We got a quick interview as well. But before we do that, MVPs, Sauce, who you got?
I think I'm going to give it to Lost. Just really played a solid game, waiting for touches, and he made some pretty powerful touches too. and then just the absolute dominant performance here in game 5, 52 touches. His next closest teammate was 26. That's just an insane stat ratio to put up that you're the absolute dominant performer right there. Just nobody else really able to touch it, and they didn't really have to touch it as he made 3 saves, an assist, a goal. He did everything he had to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Lost definitely gets MVP. I want to give honorable mention though to G Money stepping out, letting the team reset with Enterprise, and then coming back in with Enterprise to get that offensive pressure rolling. G Money absolutely played his heart out with Prism Protoges, so shout out to him. But MVP absolutely goes to Lost here, and I think we've got Lost in the lobby right now. We're going to do a quick interview, get him dragged down here. Before we do that, though, don't go anywhere, and also come back early next week. We got more playoffs lined up here. It's going to be a super exciting time, but let's get Lost in here and get talking to him. Lost, hey, congratulations. What a grueling night of playoffs for you guys. You guys went 4-1, or sorry, yeah, you guys went 4-1 in playoffs in semifinals and then had to wait probably about a half hour or so to get going here in the finals. How are you feeling? Lost? Do we have your audio?
It's not often we get crickets. Caught him at the worst time,
Caught him at the worst
apparently.
time. That's all right. We can leave
Uh,
Lost's screen name up here. We'll talk about playoffs coming up, though. Want to shout out just all of our casting and production crews as a whole. They do a lot of work to make this happen for everybody. So shout out to them. But let's look at what we got coming up here while we wait for Lost to come back. We've been through amateur, premier, and prospect, and we're getting into the meat and potatoes of things here as we get into things on Monday. Monday, 9:30, we've got contender and then master, another low tier, high tier split. And then Wednesday, 9:30 and 10:30, we got challenger and elite. And next week, next Monday, we got special guest casters too. Sauce Boss myself will be here, but we got special guests coming in too that are going to amp this up and make this super exciting for everybody. Finally, end of March here, we finalize things with final number 5. We got rival and veteran lined up to wrap up the mid tiers, and that's going to wrap up postseason. But we got a lot of exciting things lined up for you. I'm going to stop talking now, see if Lost is back. Lost, are you there?
I am.
Hey, what's up, man? Sorry, man. We caught you at a weird time, but wanted to say congratulations. What a grueling night for you guys in playoffs here. You guys went 3-1 in semifinals, and then had to wait about a half hour before you could even get in the lobby for playoffs. How's your team feeling right now?
I mean, we're pretty ecstatic. It was, yeah, I know none of our series went to 7 games, but I've never sweated out series like that in my 12 seasons of RSC.
Yeah, no, you've been a familiar face for sure, and you've definitely, this whole season, Tanuki has been one to watch. You and Bieles seem to have a really good synergy going on. What were you guys thinking when you found out that it was going to be Prism?
We'd scrim them once during the season. We wanted to play them a few more times. It went 50-50 in the scrim. We were excited because we'd only scrim them. We played pizza, scrim pizza. They were a good team. We'd scrim fairies, played fairies. We were glad to get past them in the semis, but it was something different. We knew we just had to play our game. And it clearly worked most of the season. So we just had to stay on our trajectory to we knew we kind of had it as long as we played our game.
yeah, and you guys definitely played your game, but what was the response to seeing all the roster changes and them switching up the players every couple of games, just doing anything they could to find a way to break through? And they finally found a way in game 4, but what was the talk going on to try and respond to that despite still being 3 games or 2 game or 1 game away from match?
Well, we kind of have a couple stat nerds on our team, so we paid attention to like play not so much play styles, but like demos, things like that from other teams, especially when we were sitting or challenging for the top seed. Um, we knew a couple of their players played a little more bump heavy, and a couple like in some of their lineups played a little faster, and it showed. I mean, I bet we got out demoed 2-1. But we knew as long as we just kept pressuring and putting our pressure and like our speed out there, eventually it was going to break through. We figured we might have dropped a game or two, but we knew like as long as we kept playing the game we've played um all season, we we should win.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you guys did well. You guys have been really consistent all season. I know when I played you guys, it was definitely a tough match for us that I think you guys ultimately walked away with a victory on. But talk about roster changes, talk about lineup. Prism Protoges went through their lineup twice, swapping people out. How did that feel to play against? Did you notice any visible changes in play style? We felt that Enterprise and Gmoney coming in together made for a really aggressive lineup in those later games. But what was your guys' response to that?
No, I gotta agree. Like they definitely pushed us a little faster and were counterattacking us a little more. And then they still had both like all three or all their roster inter whatever interchange they had, it was they'd still get bumps, but it was we noticed with Enterprise coming in, they played a little more aggressive, and then G Money came back in, and they really like it was pedal to metal from them. So we just had to make sure our defensive rotations were there. Um, and I've got like Beals and I have Great Kim, and we just started playing with each other this season. But I've got 10 years of playing with Lone Wolf, so our chemistry was we just knew we had to get on the same page,
Right.
and the
Right.
three of us have just clicked all season.
Yeah, no, you guys definitely have. You guys put a really great team together this season, and obviously it shows as you're sitting here talking to us now. Uh, Leaving playoffs here, anything you want to shout out, anybody you want to say hi to before we let you go?
Um, actually, like all I this is my 12th season in RSC. All of Prospect, while we're not the best, has some of the best people from GMs, players, whatever. Like it's just all good vibes, and like you don't run into a bad player. Like it's one of the best tiers in RSC. If you're just trying to get into the game and like learn it and have fun, like you can't beat it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, appreciate you saying that. Again, congrats on the win. Go to sleep. It's been a long night for you guys. But we're gonna let you go, man. Congrats again. And congrats to Tanuki for putting together an excellent season this season. And then shout out Prism Protoges for taking it all the way to the wire. Just not quite able to capitalize on it. So, but like we said, guys, that's gonna wrap up tonight. But definitely come back next week. We got really exciting matchups. Master is going to be absolutely insane. Contender is always crazy. Challenger, Elite, Rival, Veteran, all of them got highlights, and we got the best of the best coming into the playoff season here as we get going. But for tonight, we're going to say goodnight. It's been a long one. Congrats again. Thanks to everybody on stream for checking us out. Share us with your friends. We're growing a little bit each day, and we got new people coming in. And the more new people we got, the more new faces we see, the more tricks and highlights we get to pull out. So, with that, guys, have a great evening, good night, and congratulations.